everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Snake.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about music, movies, TV shows, and any other interesting topics. See, I haven't been getting it wrong for the last few podcasts.
It only took like 50-hour podcasts to get it right, but it's
You
okay.
know, he's
Congrats.
such a
You're
hater.
doing great.
Like,
You're
he
doing
is a
so well,
hater.
and I
He
am
doesn't
proud of you.
support me. I feel
I
like
am
I'm not
proud
being
of you.
yeah,
No, I
sarcastic.
see the progress you've been making, and I appreciate that. I've had to
Yeah,
chase
yeah.
you down to say, Shanique, you forgot this, or you said this twice.
From the guy
It's
who,
good
when he
job,
does
Shanique.
the intro, he messes up, right? Okay. Anyway,
Yep, you're right. You're right.
we're
That's why you
gonna.
should do the intro.
Yo, he trash. He trash. Just straight up trash. So, what I was
So
saying
mean.
was, before we get into this episode, where Michael stopped acting like an asshole, um,
Oh my gosh, words, all words right now.
yo, can I get through the podcast? What is wrong with you? Anyway, I want you guys to tweet us at Echo U Podcast or leave comments on our YouTube, Facebook, and iTunes, also at Echo Underground Podcast, and you can find us on any podcasting apps or sites at Echo Underground Podcast. We want to hear what you guys think is the best album of 2017, best TV show of 2017, and the best movie of 2017. Maybe our list match yours. Who knows? But we're gonna get into episodes. So we're gonna do this episode on the latest installment in the DCEU Justice League. Now I'm gonna give my rating. I thought it was a B plus, not an A for the story. The story made it lose down, but a B plus because I thought the acting was good. I loved the fight scenes, and it was really good to see the team together. So, and overall, I enjoyed the movie. My sister, who's not even like a big comic fan or comic movie fan, she enjoyed the movie as well. But she also gave it like a B. So I think you'll enjoy it. What do you think of this movie, Michael?
I'm very okay with this movie. There are a couple things that I would have moved around. I do realize like the different direction that they went. Not like a super different direction that they went from BVS, but it's definitely like a different and noticeable direction. But I'll definitely gotta give this like an A minus because I liked the movie a lot, and um, I came out of it extra happy. So that's all I needed to know that there's I'm going to be saying good things about it on this podcast. So, but
Okay.
I do have some gripes, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay. So before we get into the movie, there will be spoilers. I want you guys to know that ahead of time, you know, so no one could come at our next be like, oh, you didn't tell. I'm like, yeah, we got spoilers. And we're a little behind. It's been out for like 2 weeks, so hopefully everyone saw the movie by then. So, going into the movie, I'm going to start off with what I like. Um, starting with my favorite character. My favorite character in the movie is, of course, Wonder Woman. She's my number one character of this movie. She, one, was badass, but my only complaint about Wonder Woman my only complaint about Wonder Woman was that she's still not at full power, and I get why, because she took 100 years off and was chilling. And if you saw the Wonder Woman movie, there's a scene where she's like painting the statue, or like, I guess, I don't want to say refurbishing because you don't do that to statues, but she's basically making sure that it's like in good condition. That is the end of the Wonder Woman movie itself. So I kind of thought that was cool that it tied back into that. And so that means once Wonder Woman had her long flashback in the previous movie, she was basically calling the action to fight Steppenwolf. So I thought that was cool. I thought her scene where she like fuck up those robbers was badass when she blocked all the bullets. I was like, that's good shit right there. I thought she was level headed. I like her relationship with Bruce. I think they're trying to go with Batman and Diana. I don't think Batman can handle her, but that's my opinion. People might disagree. And I liked her relationship with all the members of the cast, including Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman. So I thought overall she was part of like, at least for me, why I really loved the movie out of the 6 main characters. Who's your favorite character?
Oh boy, I didn't want to jump into spoiler this fast, but my favorite character is the guy who was in the movie for was not like in the trailers, which
Everyone
kind of
knows
sucked.
Superman's in the movie. Like keep going. It's not real
Okay,
spoilers.
my favorite character was Superman because like, and I have so, oh man, I want to start. I'm going to be all over the place. So try to keep me on track here. But there's just so many things about Superman that both went right and wrong at the same time. Because one, I like Superman because one, this the way it happened was pretty cool. I did not know, like people unfortunately did spoil that for me, but I tried to keep a level head and be like, all right, I don't know the exact progress of how that happened. I just know Superman's still alive, which is cool. I didn't even want to bring it up this early in the podcast, but like I thought that whole thing there was pretty cool. But one of the things I definitely liked was how the writers decided to like let everyone know watching the movie that Superman's essentially still a fucking god. Like this guy, they definitely like let his power be known compared to everybody else on the team, and that he can put everybody in check pretty much, which he kind of did.
Well,
Now,
I like the thing about that is before you get into like why he can only put everybody in check. Bruce is automatic. Like Bruce is the weakest of the team. He's the smartest, but he's also weakest physically. It's because he's the only one that has access to their full power. Aquaman hasn't been using his full power. Flash, he even mentioned in the movie he don't really know how to fight. And then again, Wonder Woman hasn't learned her full capabilities yet either. So that's the only thing I don't like about the universe itself. None of the superheroes besides Superman and Batman are at full strength yet. And I think that's kind of lame. But that's just me. Maybe they have to build them up. Maybe they need like another movie or two for them to get
that's
there.
that's a point I was gonna make later. It kind of sucks because like I'm not gonna say that they pull like a Suicide Squad on this where they like you just had a movie with everyone just like hey get together and we're gonna do a superhero team up thing. I mean like it wasn't that bad because I did like Suicide Squad regardless. But one thing though is that at least you know what you were right. Batman and Superman like they had enough build between them to quantify where they're at now. The other four, minus Wonder Woman, because at least she had her whole movie to herself. Everyone else is just kind of like it's the worst case scenario of what you just said. Like you can't really tell where they're at or whether they can even go. They can't even tell as far as what their potential is because of like how fast they got thrown into everything. Like it just happened kind of haphazardly because I'm not saying like they all need their own movie to explain everything, but like nothing else was really like spread across the DC universe very much so that you can really like say, hey, this guy's this strong or that guy's that strong, or maybe someone can actually be a legit challenge to Superman because the way they woke him up. Granted, I thought it was cool and it made me like him a lot. I was like, damn, I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman would put up more of a fight than that. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Aquaman would have put up more of a fight than that. Like they're the only ones like super strength. And even I did like the whole thing with Barry though, because at least he's showing like he's that fast. I think Barry has an advantage, but like they're using a different Barry than I've ever seen before on any kind of iteration of the Flash. Because he's essentially a kid. All the Barrys I knew were all adults. Wally wasn't always an adult, but Barry was always an adult. This
No,
guy,
Barry's a kid. He's old enough to be in college and graduate.
I mean, yeah, I'm talking about like as far as maturity though. Like, he's the comic relief. Which don't get me wrong, I love Barry in this movie. I just think that his character is what drains him as far as like being a legit challenge to like Superman and a lot of the other fighting scenes in the movie. It's like you said, he got built up to not be a fighter. And, it wasn't
I mean,
since
but is the Flash a real fighter? Because he's kind of right. Even in the games, he hits you and then runs. Like, is he ever real? But you know what made Barry smart? Is that because Barry was a genius, he was able to use his powers to do cool things. It's the most simplest powers, but he was able to make tornadoes, figure out how to go back in time, do little cool tricks with his speed. That's what made the Flash a cool superhero. Because his power is very, like, simple. I run really fast and people can't catch me. Like, that's basically what his power is. But he learned because of his intelligence on how to use his powers to do amazing things. But the Flash never really was a fighter in the sense that I don't think you ever saw a movie where he was like going throwing hands or anything like that.
I sure have. In the animated movies, even the Flashpoint movie itself. If anyone has seen that one, the Flash was in there doing work.
He
And
was just running, nigga. I don't know what you're talking about. He was not doing work.
oh my gosh, okay, we need to go rewatch some animated movies with the Flash in it because he Flash has been doing work for a long time, especially Barry. Because Barry's doing. I know me and you were used to the Wally West Erica, like that's what they had in Justice League Unlimited. But like in a lot of the animated movies where they did have specifically Barry, he was doing just fine, yo. And I can't argue.
I
I'm not gonna say he's a fighter because like he has super speed, not super strength, but he's used it to his advantage before. Like he's used the same
Yeah.
thing that like Reverse Flash could use before. The whole like on the TV show he can throw lightning and do everything. You just have the tornadoes and all that. And I'm not gonna say I'm good with him in the game, but he can put ass in the game if you know how to use
Yeah,
him
but
right.
like in the game, he still hits you really fast and then runs and then does something else. And that's what basically Barry movesets are. But I'm saying because he's smart, he also learned to throw the lightning, learned to he also learned to increase his punches by going around the world and hitting you as well. Like
I agree.
I'm just saying, like, essentially if he really had to fight someone without his speed, he wouldn't be able to do it because he has no like fighting.
No, when I say yeah, I agree with that. I'm saying in the context of his power. If everybody without their power was to fight, I'm pretty sure the only people who'd have a chance would be like Wonder Woman and Batman, pretty much, and maybe everybody else because of their bulk, and definitely not Barry. But I'm saying in the context of his power, though, like
Yeah,
of
I
course,
mean, but
I'm talking.
that's what I was saying with his powers. He hits you and runs, and then he increases his power by running faster and then hitting you again. He's never been like an actual like real fighter. I'm not saying he doesn't put in work. I will never say the Flash does not put in work. But he doesn't like right now. My original point about Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Flash was that this was their first time going against. Well, I guess Wonder Woman's second time, but since she took 100 years off, we gonna say first time going against someone who's as strong as her. You know, the last time she did that was Hades. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Wonder Woman. Gotta put that
Aries.
at Ares. Sorry, either way. Oh God, because Hades is dead, right? Who knows? We don't know. Ares, and then Flash only fought like burglars and stuff like that, as you saw in this movie. And then Aquaman didn't fight at all. He just drank and saved people from the ocean. So this was like their first time out. And that's what I was saying. I'm not talking about like they needed like movies per se. I just thought it was kind of funny that they took basically two rookies and said, "Hey, we need your help. Just go in there." And I think had what
And
I
Cyborg.
yeah, and Cyborg too. He didn't even know how to use all his powers. He still don't know how to use the suit completely. Cause we'll get into that later. But Cyborg's also a newbie as well, and he did pretty good. Like, but I think he kind of has a cheat sheet because I think his suit also uploads the additions that it makes in his brain, and that's how he knows how to use it. But like, I don't think they needed more movies per se. I kind of like that the only reason that Aquaman returned to like fighting for Atlantis and all that stuff is because a threat happened for it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I agree with you on that was like my biggest gripe. I don't like that personally. If they weren't gonna do like origin movies for like Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, I'd rather they've been full powered already. Same thing with. I'm actually okay with Diana because at least the way they have it in universe, she fought Ares like 100 years ago, and then she did Batman vs Superman and just kept and didn't really fight anything after that. She fought like low level, so I'm okay with how the way they build the universe. But I always thought I would want Aquaman to be full strength. I thought he should have been at full power, But that's not what they're going for. I guess he's supposed to be the person like, hey, I discovered I have these powers, but I'm gonna do what I want with them and just chill. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really leave much room for explaining everything else behind them, which I guess.
What is there to
But
explain though?
like, why Aquaman wasn't in Atlantis?
Yeah, he said that. He said that in the movie. He literally
Yeah.
said his mom left him with his father and abandoned him. And her mom, if the mom lives in Atlantis, which they also said in the movie, then that's clearly why
Well,
Aquaman wasn't in Atlantis.
all right. Hold on. I get what you're saying right here. If you let me continue, I'd have told you. When I say that in Atlantis, I mean, like, he's not the king. I get he was already left alone. But my answer got kind of explained, but not really. Because my main thing was as far as your whole full power thing, I was like, okay, he at least needs a trident for this to happen. But he didn't even have that much, and they can't even call it a trident because it has like 5 prongs instead of
That's their
3.
version of a trident. Okay, let it
Whatever. It's a
go.
pitch. It's
Let it
Batman.
go.
I don't know who it was, but someone called it the pitchfork, and I'm pretty sure they're right at that point. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, I see it. Yeah, I get it. It's all right.
And like with Barry, it's kind of weird because Barry wasn't even working with the cops at this point. This is
Hmm.
before he even did that. I think it was kind
Which is weird because I'm pretty sure like every time that he did have that accident, he was already working for the cops. But I think in this story that the timeline is a little switched around. Like he got to the accident first, now he's working for the cops. But
yeah,
it's not it's not super important to the story, so I'm just pointing that out.
yeah. And I agree. Superman was pretty good in this movie. I agree with
Yeah.
your favorite character.
One thing I do want to talk about for a second. We're past favorite characters. Oh man, two real big things I got to talk about. But okay, my first one is the Flash. Now I was thinking in Batman vs Superman when Flash came to Bruce in his dream, if when he said Lewis is the key, if he was talking about this movie, because I thought it was honestly going to be something a little bit more important, but apparently it could have been.
I well, I think that's what I think they're gonna handle that with Flashpoint. To be honest.
I guess so.
Or honestly, here's the thing: they might be going in a different direction because you notice how instead of the dark side, well, this is a spoiler for the end credit scene. It's going to be a tiny thing. We're going to talk about it in detail later. But for for Darkseid, instead of giving a spoiler for Darkseid, they're saving Darkseid and literally doing the Legion
Hmm.
storyline. So now, technically, Steppenwolf didn't make sense to be the villain in this. I guess they needed a villain strong enough to make Batman not be able to do it on his own and all that stuff. Because here's why I thought they needed all 6 of them. One, they needed someone who understood the mother boxes, so you needed Wonder Woman, which is basically why you needed Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Aquaman. Alright?
Hmm.
You needed someone who's smart enough and, has money. So, there's Batman. And you needed basically someone fast enough for basically like the virgins and maybe to save people, which is why you had to fly. And then you needed, strength. So you have Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Superman for that. So I understood why all 6 of these people would have did it, even though personally I would have did Martian Manhunter. But I don't think they're ready for him yet.
That would be even harder to squeeze in, but I agree that probably be the next best thing to do, other than the Green Lantern, so that they kind of hinted at. But yeah, I think those two will be the next big things to add to the group.
Yeah, but they were gonna do a Nightwing movie, and I'm like, okay, but that's in prediction mode. Well, you know what? At the end, we should do predictions for the next Justice League and then predictions for the DCEU because I think those are 2 separate things.
Yeah.
And since people are like freaking out because Justice League didn't make as much money as it should have, even though I still think it's doing well, but they wanted it to do better.
Yeah.
So the DCEU might look a little different in a couple months.
True.
Yeah, but I saw why all 6 of these people were needed, and I did like that because sometimes like which is one of the things that Suicide Squad failed at. Was what you didn't realize why all these people were chosen. And I thought this movie did a better job of that. Like you understand each of the roles in the thing. You know, Wonder Woman's representing the Amazons, Aquaman's representing the Atlanteans, Batman and Flash is representing like,
and
man.
Cyborg. Yeah.
Yeah. And Cyborg's the key to like separating the mother boxes. So they needed him. Because he's the only one that could like merge with the mother boxes and be able to separate them. And then Superman also, Cyborg needed someone who's just as capable of taking that hit. Even though Wonder Woman probably could have did that, but they needed her and them to like distract Steppenwolf. But I understand everyone's role, and I was very much okay with how that happened. But I do want to talk about, I think we should talk about each member. Because we already did Wonder Woman and Superman. What did you think of Batman in this movie?
Oh, another big place I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you said that one next. I feel, and I know that this might just be some dork getting in his feelings right now, but I feel like he got watered down in this movie, which I guess is kind of, predictable since you're adding so many other factors into the movie and bringing back Superman. But like he was so much more badass to me in BVS than he was in this movie. Because in this one, I don't know. Like, granted, I do think it was kind of cool to see him like crack a joke here and there a couple more times and be a little more sarcastic. But like, it was kind of weird because I just didn't. One of the main things I was watching this movie again for, because like we saw mostly Batman in the trailers. I just wanted to see more Batman in the movie. And I feel like since he's one of the most important Justice League members, it's kind of weird that he's watered down. Like, I get it. You can't fight Superman, and you got smacked around into a car, and that kind of like reminded you that you're probably one of the only humans on this team. Sorry, I mean there's also Flash, and I guess there is Cyborg, but just full on humans with no powers, no alterations, no nothing. But I feel like he's done so well in almost every iteration of the Justice League that like this is probably the most watered down version of him that I've seen so far. Don't get me wrong, he's had like some really good moments in the movie, but like nothing even came close to what I saw in Batman vs Superman. Because at the end of the movie, I was like thinking to myself, "Wow, I'm in hype mode right now. Everything went so well." And then on my way home, I was like, what did Batman do?" Like
But
he's the brain. I'm sorry, yeah, but I mean he's the brains, yeah, and like he had the whole little thing with the tank at one point, and he did try to apparently like sacrifice his life, but nothing was like as badass as what we saw in like the flashback he had when he tried to save Clark's mom. Fighting Darkseid even though he had no chance, fighting Superman even though he had no chance. Like this is the first time we like saw him like fighting something that he had no chance and actually have no chance. Because like before he at least was believable.
Okay, here's the thing. I actually thought what they did to Batman made sense. Because one thing about the whole Superman thing, he had time to prepare for Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He had time to build a suit. And also for when he was rescuing Superman's mom, those were people with guns. That don't mean shit to Batman.
I get that.
He was fighting in this movie. He's fighting parademons. He was fighting an actual god. Because I think he's supposed to be part of the new gods. He said that in the movie. I don't know if that's true. Someone look into Steppenwolf and tell me if he actually is part of the new gods thing. And realistically, he wouldn't be able to take them on. Like, I'm being actually honest, he wouldn't be able to take them on. It made sense.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. I agree.
Was the brains in the group. That's what, like, when I think of the Justice League, and I saw a reviewer say they never understood why Batman was in the Justice League because he's so underpowered. And I was like, nah, I don't agree with that. I think Batman needed, one, someone needs to fund the Justice League. Let's keep it real. You can't do this without money. Two, you need someone who's smart and has critical thinking, because let's be real about Superman. He's not the smartest one. He just goes in and punching. I've never seen an iteration where Superman actually makes a plan, like a full out, thought out plan. He usually just goes in and then he learns from his mistakes through the fight. But Batman's a planner, and that's what made this pretty good. And also, this Batman is also old, too. So that's part of it. Like, it's kind of showing, like, he's kind of old. And, I thought how he played him in this movie made sense. I think if Batman was more prepared for Steppenwolf, because I think he was prepared for the parademons more than actual Steppenwolf himself, then it would have been a totally different story. Batman would have been able to figure out his weaknesses and not just have to go, well, excuse my language, balls deep and just be like, all right, I'm just swinging, you know. He had to make a plan on the spot, and he didn't know his enemy. So that's why I thought his role was perfect. I don't think he was really watered down. I thought this what realistically would happen if he went against a guy like Steppenwolf. But what I liked about Batman in this movie, like I said, I liked his interactions with everyone. I liked his annoyance at Barry. I liked his little thing with Diana, even though she was about to bust him up. And in the lab when he pressed the wrong buttons, and for the first time ever you see Wonder Woman push him. But did she push him or did she like flick him? I couldn't tell.
She pushed him like a little shove.
And she's that strong and he is human, so it makes sense. And then I liked his interaction with Aquaman, which brings me to the next person, Aquaman. I thought I liked that only reason he helped is because Atlantis was attacked. I personally like that because that's very in character. But that was probably the only scene besides the scene in the beginning when he threw Bruce against the wall that I thought, this is the Aquaman I knew. And when he was threatening Flash. I was like, okay, this is Aquaman I know. But I think another reason why Aquaman particularly was underpowered, they weren't near water. So he didn't have an advantage of the sea itself. But I guess my question is, can Aquaman summon water from anything, or does he have to actually be near water? That's
not sure how that works.
I don't know either. But yeah, I love Aquaman. I just think I want more of the serious, mean Aquaman. But I thought this movie was a good balance because you got to make him likable to other people. And I think they squeezed in that he was kind of really just doing it for his people, not really the world. Had his people not been attacked, he would have not cared. They squeezed it in, but made him likable at the same time. What do you think of Aquaman?
Aquaman I thought was cool. Definitely a different direction. The one thing I will say though is the different direction that they're going in is a very unique one. Because granted, I could tell that they're already going to do that from the trailers when he was saying things like "my man" and "boo." What's the name? What's it? Was it something like "hell yeah" or something? I don't know. He was like,
it was hell yeah.
He sounded like some kind of like super cool biker guy, which is kind of weird to me. But I didn't mind it at all though. Like I do wish the other chick, I'm forgetting her name, from Atlantis, that he met up with her, which I know is like his wife or his girlfriend or something like that. And in the series, Mira, there you go. I kind of wanted some more from her, but I do get it. You know, it's a 2 hour movie and 2 hour and change movie, so you know you can't really do much with that. But she only had like the one scene, and I get it. You know, they don't have that much room. But as far as Aquaman goes, I thought it was pretty cool. I kind of wanted to see more of Atlantis too. I kind of wanted to get like a general idea of its size as well. And
that's why you have an Aquaman movie.
Lady, that's why I'm okay with it. Do you not just hear me correct myself?
I hear that.
Of course you didn't. Anywho, before I was rudely interrupted, I thought they did okay enough with him because I also saw that he was one of the heavy hitters in the group. He could take a hit from Superman definitely, because I'm pretty sure he got launched like 3 blocks over when Superman woke up, and he went toe to toe with Steppenwolf. Not as good as Diana was doing, but well enough to hold his own. Definitely enough to hold his own movie when that happens. Jason Momoa might be a decent pick right now, and I don't mind. I don't mind bearded Aquaman right now. It's a long bearded Aquaman anyway, because I know he had a beard before, but nothing this serious.
Did he had a? I thought he just had like wild hair. I didn't think his beard was that serious.
I mean, I'm talking about serious as far as like the amount that he has. 'Cause I know Aquaman and every other thing I've seen him in, he's never had his beard like below his neck. Like you'll have like a full face of hair, but it would just be like just that, just a full face. Like Jason Momoa, he's got like a beard hanging down to his chest pretty much, and same thing with his hair. But it's not like a gripe. I'm just saying this is a new Aquaman, and it's fine the way he looks. Heck, when the teaser first came out like a while back about like Unite the Seven, I thought he looked great there because I was like, oh, this ain't the white blonde Aquaman that everybody's used to. They're going with Jason Momoa, and I thought he was a decent pick. Like he looked good as Aquaman. I do like that scene where he had the lasso of truth around him as well. I thought that was hella funny.
Oh yeah, when he sat on it, yeah.
Yeah, and I did think he had like a cool little moment where he stopped the water from like flooding the area where they're like fighting Steppenwolf inside that tower thingy or whatever it was.
Mhm.
I thought that was cool too. But yeah, I think Aquaman he provides enough to put things forward in the DCEU.
Okay. Next up, the Flash. Like, I want to talk about Flash because the Flash, he was annoying but funny annoying, so I was like okay with it. Plus, can we talk about why the fuck was he running like that?
Yeah, his running stance was really weird in this movie. I agree.
Like when he was starting to run, it looked cool, but when you actually see him running, besides the scene where he was trying to attack Superman, it looks fucking weird. Like I don't know why they made that choice. Like the Flash, I hope they get rid of that because that looks weird. That looks hella weird. I don't know why he's running like that. That's the main thing. My main gripe with the Flash is that like yo, he was running hella weird, and like it was kind of like, and you know where you really notice it at the end of the
Yeah,
movie. And
yeah,
then I'm
I
like,
agree.
that is so like I don't know, cringy. I don't know. I did not like that stupid running stance he was doing. But getting onto the Flash, I did like his end credit with Superman, where they was gonna race. But again, I don't know. I don't know if who would win on a head-on race if they
They,
actually
they
like try.
they've never like full on answered that in any like anywhere in DC Comics.
I hope they
But it's
don't.
weird. Like factually, technically, the Flash would win because Flash has ran to the end of time before to beat literal death, and I'm like, Superman, sure, he's fast enough to like rewind time because he's done that before in like one of his early movies or whatever it was, like Superman 2 or something like that. But like I'm pretty sure the Flash is way faster than Superman, but it's fine. At that point, it's like you're talking about two people who can move faster than the speed of light. So who cares who's faster?
Yeah, like it's just the Flash, Superman, and then Wonder Woman. She doesn't use her super speed a lot, but she does have it. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, that stupid running stance. I like the scenes with his father. I thought that was really good. When when the guy Ezra Miller or Credence from Fantastic Beasts, if you guys watch that, he toned down himself and was doing the scenes with his dad, or when he was actually like in the action sequences, I loved him more than his like, oh, I'm funny. Even though he was really funny. I like that he kind of said what a lot of people thought about him. He's like, yo, I just run real fast, hit people, and then I run. Like, and I was like, that's kind of funny. Partly true. I think right now this is what is true for him because he doesn't fully like, do his powers yet. But and then one thing I hated, he kept tripping. Since when does the Flash trip?
it's weird because technically he does. Because I know like even when he fought like Captain Cold and a couple iterations of that, he just like slips on ice or like puddles of water or something like that, and it's kind of weird because like you're the Flash, you can process information at the speed of light, but you can't tell where to place your foot while running. Like that's it's always been it's not even with this movie that existed, but like it's just kind of weird that they're using that as one of his crutches that he can't get past while running. Like, come on now, this is the kind of guy who runs at the speed of light, but he trips on things. Do you know what happened if you trip on something while running at the speed of light? That's like a nuclear explosion or some shit. But
Yes.
whatever. I digress. I'm not gonna get into science about it anyway. I agree. It did hurt me. I'm getting in my feelings right now because it hurt me too, yo. Like, why did y'all do this? I
I
get it. He's
know.
like a. I get it. He's in like a dorky kid phase, but whatever. I'm gonna let you finish so I can talk about him. Go ahead.
And another thing that I did not like was his suit. I don't like his suit. I might
Really?
be the only one.
Maybe.
It looks too much like a Power Ranger suit. It reminds me
Um,
exactly of the Power
what's
Ranger
the
suit.
problem here? Excuse the hell out of me.
First of all, this nerd over here, Power Ranger nerd, on the on the conversation.
The
I
Power
was
Rangers have saved the world probably more times than the Justice League has. Okay, I don't want to hear
okay,
your
bruh.
noise.
No. Anyway, we talking about
Yes.
the just
Yes.
no, no.
Yes.
Anyway, what I was saying was the Flash suit never looked like the Power Ranger suit. So that's why I don't like it. It's
Over
he look
designed. Is he?
yeah, it's like he's the Red Ranger, but disguised as the Flash, and I don't like his suit. It was fine for this movie, but I really hope they improve that suit because I don't like it. I couldn't even see his signature lightning bolt really on there. I knew it was on there, but you
He
couldn't
had it
really
on his head. He had it on his head, but I don't remember seeing it anywhere else. It might be there, but I know it's on his head. But
yeah, and like I
I
even got over his lightning being blue. It didn't even bother me. I don't even care that it's blue instead of yellow. I really don't care about that. I just really don't like his suit. That's my only pet peeve. He's the only suit I don't like. I never thought Wonder Woman's was practical, but I like hers better than the Flash. She's still like typical Wonder Woman and it's not corny, and neither is the Flash or Cyborg's. But
Cyborg was
nah,
all CG. Like the only part of Cyborg that existed was his face. The rest of him was CG, but I think they did good with it, especially at the very end, where like they show what it's about to look like for the next couple movies, where like he had more like a circle thing in his chest instead of like the line going down. I thought that looks a little more streamlined. I would say his thing, the suit he had on throughout the regular movie, I thought that was definitely over designed, but that kind of makes sense because it's the kind of first thing he got stuck with after having the mother box like both quote unquote create and destroy him at the same time. You know.
yeah, we'll get into Cyborg, but the Flash, I hate his suit. You can talk about the Flash now. I'm done ranting about that ugly ass suit.
It's alright. I mean, I don't mind his suit, but I do agree though that there is probably some over design problems going on, and I feel like if they altered cyborgs, then they probably should alter Flashes as well. I would say it doesn't bother me, but I do agree. Like the TV suit burns this one out the water. Like I love the TV suit. I thought the TV suit was gonna be the one that was corny, but like that TV suit, mm 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 mm. Damn, that looks good. I'm still glad that they went with the choice of doing that because both simple but effective. But enough about TV Flash. We're talking about movie Flash. Anyways, like I was saying before earlier, I just want to know if that whole like scene with him going back in time was like an actual thing referring to this movie. But I can wait for the other movies to come out because like that one had the whole dark side thing going on. And speaking of that, they only mentioned Darkseid's name one time in this entire movie, which I thought was like hella dope. Like, yo, y'all, he's so serious right now that DCU was so serious about this right now. They're like, yo, we're building him up somewhere else, yo. He's coming, but he ain't here. Flash. Um, I know I probably spoke about him a lot already by ranting on some other person's some subject, but I thought Ezra did pretty good. Comic relief, great. I did think the whole thing about him and his fears. I thought that was funny. Um, him eating everything was also funny. Everything in the trailers that he had was pretty funny. I hope that's not what he becomes permanently for the group, because that's my main fear. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved it in this movie. It was great, but I hope that's not like his thing. Like, hey, he's that one guy who just makes jokes all the time. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Barry does have his funny moments, but he can be serious too. And I didn't really get any glimpse of that from him because like they definitely have him in like kid mode for some reason. But I'm assuming it's because like it's still early stages of DC. So maybe at some point in the future they're gonna like transition his character into something more mature, while not making him boring.
They don't want serious Flash though.
I'm saying serious. A little. It's a little. I'm saying a little more serious. I'm not saying so serious that he's boring. Like this one is just all. It's just him cracking jokes, which are a lot of times very good jokes. I do like the part where he grew up a little bit with Batman, where he said when Batman was like, "Yo, just save one person." Batman knew what he was doing. He said save one person because he knew that you can't just save one person. You got to try for everybody. And I thought that was cool. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the Flash. Who we got next? Wonder Woman.
No, we already did them. Because Wonder Woman was my
Okay.
favorite character. Superman was yours. Um,
Okay. I don't think
so
I don't think I got to talk about her, but I'll do it later though.
I thought you commented on it.
I mean, I
Um,
commented, but I had it's a little more to say about like her and the Amazons and all that kind of stuff. But it's okay. We'll move on to the next character for now. So I don't want to like circle back around right here. Go ahead.
okay. No, I'm playing. Who's next? We did Batman. We did Aquaman. Oh, Cyborg.
Cyborg. Yep.
The forgotten black superhero every damn time. For real. He was.
Go that way,
I,
but okay.
look, let's be honest. When you think of black superheroes, you don't really think of the Flash. I mean, not the Flash. Cyborg. You think of like John Stewart, Black Panther, Static. Everyone know he existed, but that's not like your first thought. He was actually surprisingly good. I liked I liked how one change that they did, instead of Cyborg have to upgrade himself, his armor did it for him. I thought that was cool. I like the scene at the end where he's learning how to upgrade his own armor so it could look more like, like a suit for himself. I like that it showed him struggling with his newfound powers. And also, side note to Bruce Wayne, you need better security. Cyborg should not be able to hack you, because if he can hack you, Lex can probably hack you. Just saying. But that's a
Yep.
future that's a future reference. Um and like I liked how he looked the whole movie. I never was like oh my god, it's CGI. I think they needed to start with CGI for him to show that, because this is before he has his actual full like cyborg type suit. But I never knew that Cyborg's whole body was like that. I thought like at least little bits and pieces of him were still like human. I didn't know his whole body was full on robot. Maybe except his face apparently. Well, not even his face, like 2/3 of his face. I don't know why. For some reason I thought like maybe
I think
70% of his body was supposed to be robotic, but this one's like 90. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think it depends on who's like writing him. Cause I know like back when he like first debuted way back in like the 80s or whatever. I think back then is when he had like the most amount of flesh left. But like as time went on, like even with Teen Titans, like all that Cyborg had was his face pretty much, and nothing much else. But I do agree though. Like the first couple versions of Cyborg back when he first debuted into the Justice League, that's when like he had like some of his arms were still there, part of his chest was still there, and it was it's weird. Over time, he got less human. This was really strange to me. But go ahead though.
Yeah, and I thought the guy Ray Fisher, good actor, surprising.
Hmm.
And I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to his movie. That's all I gotta say. I want to take it all up. Go for it.
I thought Cyborg did great. Like I said before, I do like how he's gonna look probably from here going on out with like the circle in his chest instead of like the giant crack. I do like a lot in this movie that he was like one of the biggest plot pieces in the movie because he's part of the mother box. One thing I thought was strange though is the movie said that there's three mother boxes and they're all like very well hidden. But in the flashback, it looks so dumb to me though, because it's like the Amazon is like locked. There's up in like a giant like stone temple place. The Atlanteans have theirs locked up deep underwater, and like the humans, they just straight up dug a hole and threw it in there. When I saw that, for some reason, I don't know. I overthink things sometimes. When I was in the movie theater, like that was the best y'all could do, yo. Y'all can't even fit a whole person standing up in that hole, and y'all want to throw like this device of mass destruction like 4 feet on the ground. I thought that was
Hey, that
hilarious.
was man. Man took the easy way out.
Clearly, like they weren't just part of like a three-army war with freaking Steppenwolf. With quick question while we're on that. Speaking of that war, I might forget to bring up later, but I want to bring it up now. We saw a glimpse of the Green Lanterns in there, even though very short because he got owned.
Two
But
of
we also
them. We
saw
saw
like
two of them. We saw one fight in
two,
the air fight and the one that died.
right? what I want to know is there was a third character in that flashback who was like throwing lightning.
He was supposed to be a god like Zeus.
Okay, I was assuming so. Cause I was like, is that some kind of like early Shazam wizard type thing? 'Cause I'm pretty sure like the actual wizard, it looks like a wizard. It wasn't like buff. But I'm wondering who the heck was this guy throwing lightning? Like I didn't recognize that guy at all.
He was supposed to be a god. He wasn't
Okay,
supposed to be
that
like
makes
someone you recognize. I mean Shazam, at least, when he transformed, he's godlike.
yeah. I'm just saying like I figured like maybe some other person who had the Shazam powers because we know that can go between person and person and all that kind of stuff. But it makes sense that it's a god because the Amazons are there and the Amazons they have like a close tie with the gods and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of makes sense. But okay, yeah, I was just thrown off by that. But yeah, back to Cyborg. I thought his acting was great. I thought that it was cool that he could actually handle Superman's heat vision because I did not know Cyborg was that tough. I thought Superman's heat vision could probably like melt right through him or something like that. Because granted, I know he's made out of like mother box material. I don't know what to call the hell. I don't know what the hell to call that. But I thought that
Alien shit.
yeah, alien stuff. I thought that was cool that he could stand up to that. However, what you said earlier about him getting a piece of his thing cut in the trailer from the movie, I noticed it, and you were right. He didn't get like the whole max thing, which would have been new because I've never seen that happen before. But he also had like another scene cut out in the trailer where like he ran right into like a giant Humvee to like save this police officer guy or a soldier guy. There were like 2 Cyborg scenes that were cut from the movie, which is kind of weird to me. And I was like, why? I kind of want more Cyborg.
Like, they chopped this movie up because it was originally 2 hours and like 40 minutes. They took 40 minutes out of this movie. So there are scenes in the trailer that are not in the movie.
This extended cut is about to be real.
If they do it. If they do it. Because, the original movie was the Zack Snyder one. And now this is the Joss Whedon who chopped up his movie, put new scenes in and stuff. So I don't know if they will release the original version. I don't know if they will do that.
It might. I mean, it's I'm not, never say never, but it's whatever. I'm not super pumped about whether or not it does or does not happen, but it's kind of interesting that it's 2 Cyborg scenes that got cut because I see nobody else seen get cut. I'm not saying that they didn't get the scenes cut, but I'm saying the ones in the trailer we can at least confirm there were at least 2 Cyborg scenes that got cut. And oh man, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, and this is just a personal grab because I'm a dork. But this movie had not enough booyah for me, so it's getting A- instead of that regular A. I took up a whole point just because of that. Like, oh, Cyborg said booyah one time under his breath? Nah, excuse yourself.
He's not there yet, man. He's not there. You don't even like how he looks yet, so breathe.
Well, after I see what he's gonna look like later on, I know I'm gonna like it. Then, I forgot to say this too, but the other scene with Superman he had where he's like his toes hurt. I thought that was so cool. Like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't just try to like burn you with my eye lasers last time I saw you. All of a sudden, you're complaining about your toes hurting when you ain't got no whatever. I thought it was a cool little bromance thing, mom moments. So yeah,
I thought that was funny because like that scene was funny because he's like, I don't understand how my toes hurt.
That's physically possible, right?
He was like, how the hell does my toes hurt? And then Wonder Woman was like, yo, I work with children. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Kinda.
Especially Flash.
Flash.
It's okay.
Also, go ahead.
I was gonna let's talk about they're gonna put the Justice League in the old school Wayne Manor. There's no hiding now.
Yeah.
Unless they do under it, which I'd be okay with. Like have it under Wayne Manor, but like actually in there just chilling. But then again, at least in the Unlimited, everyone knew they had a space station in the sky, and there was a headquarters actually on Earth for the Justice League that everyone knew about. So maybe it's okay. So maybe it's okay. But I was like, yo, what the fuck? We're just gonna put the base right here?
Right, like we don't know that there's crazy things. We just saw like a space god literally appear out of nowhere. Like there's, granted, Steppenwolf had like a prior story, but like he's like, okay, Superman died, I'm in here, and that's literally what happened. But like I agree, Hall of Justice also existed, but like that was in DC, and I guess like geographically that probably wouldn't work. Like they're trying to stay in between the fictional area of Gotham, Metropolis, and Star City, I suppose.
Central City.
God damn, I think Star Labs. Central City, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they're trying to like do that kind of area, so they can't really go with the regular version where like the Hall of Justice was in DC. But I do think it's cool though that they definitely confirmed, this team about to get bigger, so leave some seats for more people to come join in. Obviously, for one that we already know about, it's going to be Green Lantern, potentially Shazam. Who else? Martian Manhunter. Shanique gets her wish.
Yeah, but they gotta do it right. They gotta do it right.
I mean, I assume for every goddamn body, they got to do it right because they got a lot to hold up to right now. So
Yeah. Favorite scenes. Okay. My favorite scene, I talk about one, was when Wonder Woman was reflecting the bullets.
mhm.
I thought that was probably her badass scene of the movie. Another one is when Superman saw the Flash running. I was like, bruh, what? He looked at him like,
the
you wanna
Flash's
try me?
face,
You
the
wanna
Flash's
try?
face was so priceless. Like he had no emotion on his face, yo.
He was like, oh
That,
shit.
that was true fear.
Yeah, because Superman looked at him like, bruh, you don't want this. You don't
Right,
want this.
right.
Um, Another good one was when Wonder Woman broke Steppenwolf's like a axe after Superman
Hmm.
froze it. I was like, all right, that's cool because I like the free frame there. And the last one, I would definitely have to say it's actually the whole fight sequence of Steppenwolf and the Amazons. I thought that was decent.
Ah, true story. That's a really good one. I agree.
What about you? You can repeat some if I name some you like.
I mean, I already told you my favorite character when Superman fought the entire Justice League essentially and literally whooped everyone's ass individually, including Wonder Woman, which I thought she put up the most fight, but like she caught some mean headbutts, yo. Like my skull would have been vaporized if I got
Yeah.
hit as hard as
And
she got hit.
another thing is they weren't trying to hurt him and he was trying to hurt them. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think if they were both like possessed and everyone was trying to really fuck up each other, it'd be a better fight.
yeah, I agree.
Flash
But
would
yeah,
definitely get his ass kicked. But I think Wonder Woman would have held up more of a fight. And Aquaman, if they were actually trying to hurt Superman, they were trying to restrain him.
as far as the Flash goes, there's definitely a point where like I think he tried to like push Superman and like he bounced off. And I was like, yo, if that's all you can do, yo, just go, just run away. You got no other place here, son. But no, he decided to trip. But but whatever. I digress. We already talked about that. But my second favorite scene was actually a Batman scene because we didn't get to see too much Batmobile in this movie. I do like the Batmobile scene where like he lured all the
Parademons?
parademons. And like technically, when you think about it, Batman probably has like the most parademon kills next to probably Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because after he knocked down the tower and like took out a whole bunch of them and like he was shooting at a whole bunch of them, I'm like it's probably the closest I could probably come to Batman. My favorite Batman scene in this movie because sure the odds are against you and I get that it's realistic that way because you have no powers. But like a lot of times he uses like his tech and his brains to his advantage, and that's the one place in the movie I thought he showed it the most outside of the spider tank, which Cyborg had some part to do with. But I thought those two scenes were probably my favorite scenes. Oh, obviously the end scene with Steppenwolf. I thought that was dope because Steppenwolf literally looks strong as hell, and I'm glad for another thing. I'm glad they didn't kill him. I'm glad he has a chance to return because he can definitely use some continuity as far as the story went. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that so far.
Yeah.
And,
Another scene I thought of was when
oh, go ahead.
Aquaman fought the parademons and he actually rode one down through the building. I was like, well, I
Oh,
hope no one was in there.
that was dope. Yeah. Oh, they should have been known to evacuate by then. I'm like,
I hope no one was in there.
other than that one family, I'm pretty sure everybody should have been the hell gone by then. But whatever.
Well, there was also a whole building that Superman carried.
True story.
I think they were too scared to leave. That's what the family was like, too scared to leave. Um, what else? What else?
End
So,
credit scene.
oh yeah, but I want to talk about Steppenwolf because he's another character we just did not talk about.
Oh, word to Big Bird.
One
Go
thing,
ahead.
like another complaint I saw was people say he was weak. Let me tell you something. He was.
What?
That's what I'm saying. That was people's like, oh, he's a weak villain. Yes, he's weaker than Superman. A little bit weaker than Superman. But here's my thing about Steppenwolf. He was smart. He learned from his mistakes. Even Wonder Woman said it. He was like, Steppenwolf's gonna be better because he first tried to destroy us first, and then go for the mother box. He's like, nah, I'm gonna skip that part. I'm gonna destroy you with my
Right.
mother box.
Yeah.
He
True.
learned from his mistakes. He took down all the Amazons. Took down, Mira, who I know is a powerful Atlantean. And then basically was handling the Justice League pretty fun. Even with Superman in play, he still handled himself pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's once the Justice League started to combine and work themselves together, then that's when he lost his high ground. When they actually really started working together, he lost his high ground. But at the
Right.
end of the day, it still took multiple people to take him out. Could he been, I guess, and they also said his plot was too simple. You can't win with people. I like that he had a simple plan. Get the mother boxes, combine them, destroy the Earth. Conquer it, and then basically make it
Turn.
apocalypse.
Right. Apocalypse 2.0 or whatever. Right.
Right. Simple plan. Nothing hard to understand. Even my sister, who doesn't really know anything about comics, understood exactly what he was trying to do. That is the point. Didn't even he was more about, and I did think his weakness was he can't fight without his axe. Which, that's why they won. Because once he lost his axe, he lost his shit.
His axe almost had its own character in this movie because of the way it was cutting up through certain people, like especially with the Amazon scene, like
Yeah, it had fire on
one
it.
chick with the bow and arrow who like shut the mother box off you. I know she felt that one.
Oh, she dead. She dead.
Yeah,
She dead though.
I mean, the axe. I agree. It's weird. Like it didn't seem like an important tool to me until I realized how much work it was doing. Because I just thought it was just some guy with a weapon. But then
yeah, that's his
whatever.
thing. That was
Yeah.
his. Well, I guess after, maybe not after Ragnarok, but his hammer was that was basically his version of Thor's hammer,
Right.
essentially. And like once that was destroyed, he was nothing.
Yeah, he got scared. That's why the pirate even started getting him.
Yeah. And this is one of those endings where I didn't mind that they let someone else essentially get rid of Steppenwolf because they put in the work. They could have probably killed him. But we try to not have the superheroes killed anymore. So
Right.
yeah, so there's that. So I personally was fine with Steppenwolf. I do agree that I would have liked a real actor instead of completely CGI. Instead of just the voiceover. But he looked fine to me. I wasn't really a big complaint to me.
I thought it was cool the way he was only because like they can't really replicate the whole height thing with him. Like the whole thing about him being like giant was like kind of an issue for a lot of people in the in the team, especially Flash and Batman. They're like, because they definitely said that you're a little tall. I don't really want to mess with this, which I thought was cool. I didn't want him to be regular size. I'm glad they made him like not necessarily Doomsday size, but still big.
Yeah. Other than that, let's go to the end credits and then predictions. So end credit scene, like I already talked about the first one. I love the idea of Superman and Flash racing, just to see. I like that little thing. I also liked.
Before you go on, I just want to let you know that granted, this isn't a fair comparison, but in Smallville, Barry did beat Superman. Okay. Granted, Clark. I'm sorry, Clark Kent because he wasn't Superman yet, but still, granted, he still won, and Barry was like a kid. So I just want to say that I think Barry would win. That's just me, my 2 cents. Go ahead, Shani.
I agree. I actually think the Flash would beat Superman if they were actually racing. Even though Superman could see him, because that was my sister thing. My sister was like, "Oh, but Superman saw him," and then he said slowpoke. I'm like, but they weren't racing. It's one thing for Flash to be running to like save these people. He's not thinking about racing Superman. I think if they had race, Flash would still win.
Yeah.
So that one, and then the last end credit scene, which hell yeah, they made you wait till the end credit, and it was Lex Luthor, finally, to a lot of people, actually looking like Lex Luthor, meeting Deathstroke, and talking about the Legion. Now here's my thing. I don't want, like, I guess I'll say that for a future DCU part, but I thought he looked good as Slade.
I definitely did think. I thought so as well. Oh hell yeah!
And if anyone's ever seen Joe Manganiello, he is buff as shit. So he's about to be buff as hell.
Word.
What do you think of the end credit scenes?
I thought it was dope because to be honest, like right now, as far like a main DC story, other than the whole Dark Side thing, I didn't really see anything else going on other than like everyone's individual movies. But with like the Legion of Doom or League of Villains, whichever one y'all want to call them, I think that's a great area to go into because like now the doors are just open for so many freaking possibilities. Like for a Batman story, I know he at some point Joker was part of that team. Cheetah was a part of that team. Grodd was a part of that team. I think Manta was a part. No, was Manta? I'm not sure about Manta. Put a pin in that one. But yeah, I know like a lot of big names were like a part of that team, and it goes through different iterations like the Justice League does. Because I know not all the time is Joker on it, not all the time is like Cheetah on it, but Lex is definitely one of the main heads. I know what's the name, the TV show, Young Young Justice. They had like their own unique mix of it too, which is kind of cool. So now that this is here, I'm in prediction city as far as where DC could go with the possibility that they have, and like everyone's individual movie coming out, and what the next Justice League movie couldn't even entail. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead, Shanique. I'll be right. I'm going to brief this. You go ahead and finish it out, Shanique.
Okay. So let's do the predictions. So here's my prediction for one Justice League for the DCU in general. Here's what I want them to do. I don't know what they would do, but here's what I want them to do. I want all of the six, and maybe like one other person, to have their own movies. Like, I need my Man of Steel 2 to be World. 100% need that. I want Green Lantern to be introduced. I want Wonder Woman 2 and Cheetah be the villain. I want Batman to come around and have his movie. Or, somehow use the Nightwing movie to introduce more into Batman's story. And then, obviously, Aquaman, his villain has to be Black Manta. I don't give a shit. Like, that has to be his first villain. And then what I want to do is, after all this, then I want Justice League 2 to come out, and all the villains from those movies are part of the Legion of Doom. That's how I would want it. That's how I hope they set it up. But that's just me. That's my prediction. That Justice League 2 will be Legion of Doom, and then if they do 3, then they'll finally hit like Brainiac and Darkseid. That's my thing. Those are my predictions for the future DCU and Justice League 2. And I want to know if you guys agree. Now,
I'm here. Go ahead.
I already finished my prediction.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead. Are you done?
I already finished my prediction.
Oh, okay. The podcast done?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sorry. Michael just disappeared on me, and
I'm sorry, guys.
And so now we're gonna actually hear his predictions, and then he's gonna close out the podcast, right? Okay, go.
Sure. Going against all my instructions, but okay. So predictions. Obviously, they're gonna keep going through the dark side route, which I think they're trying to build dark side up the same way Marvel's building up Thanos, which I think is good. Darkseid needs to be like the biggest villain in DC right now, because other than Brainiac, I think this is the best area to go to. Easiest person to write in right now, because like there's so many previews from BVS, and there's a decent one in this one with the mother boxes, because technically could incorporate boom tubes at some point. Like it's a whole bunch that could happen. So I definitely think Darkseid could come in. As far as Deathstroke, he could be a part of Batman's movie instead of Joker, or maybe part of Nightwing's movie, or I could just still do both at the same time. Who knows? Like they haven't really done any other Joker previews other than what we saw in BVS, and I don't really think I'm lying. Suicide Squad. So there's also that, I suppose. That Joker coming into play at some point. Let's see. Having Deathstroke in there is a really big deal. As in the League of Villains, I don't know where they could go with League of Villains, because like there's so many characters they could incorporate now. Like I just said, that was pretty much my preview at that point. I mean, my prediction at that point, because, geez, I don't even know how big they would even make it. And like if they would just like take one villain from everyone's universe, or just like villains from like Superman and Batman, like they're the most prominent ones.
Well, well, before, disappeared on us, I said that I wanted them to do new solo movies for all 6 of them and maybe like 2 other people, and then use all the villains from those movies as part of the League.
I agree. It's just I hope that tell you what, take back what I said. I hope that's what happens, even though my heart doesn't believe that's what they're gonna go with.
No.
'Cause I feel like DC's a lot more picky about like who they include into their storylines than the other guys are. You know who I mean. So I'm hoping that's the case. Because if that's the case, then let's see who we'd have. The only main Aquaman villain is you probably just talked about all this, so there's probably no real point in getting into this.
No, but yeah, I said Black Manta for Aquaman,
Yeah.
Cheetah for Wonder Woman, obviously Deathstroke for Batman. I said
Lex for Superman.
Yes, Lex for Superman, and then for Flash, Grodd or Reverse Flash.
And then I guess Cyborg is kind of the one winging it because he has no. I don't know any of Cyborg's like real enemies. I feel like one of the enemies from someone else's universe might transfer to his to make his storyline happen.
Yeah. What, Brainiac? No, I'm playing.
It's crazy because I feel like it might make sense to do like some other person from Apocalypse. Because like considering he's part Mother Box, then maybe it calls out to someone, and like it tries to extract. I don't know. I'm writing my own story here, but I was like, I think that would be like the coolest area for it to go in.
So I looked up some enemies of Cyborg, and I found Slade, which is Deathstroke.
That makes sense, yeah.
Blackfire.
That's a girl, right?
Yes, isn't that like?
Yeah, I think I heard of her. That's Starfire's sister or something like that.
Yeah. Gizmo.
Oh, the little kid from Teen Titans. Okay, yeah, with the little mechanical arms.
Yeah, and then I don't know who Madame Rogue. Oh, Madame Rogue. I think I know. She's also from Teen Titans. So basically, anyone they fought in the Teen Titans series could be Cyborg.
That's our only indication right now. So that's a fair suggestion. Because I know he even has like his own comic book series that's even current, but I just don't know a lot about him, to be honest. And that's a damn shame. But because he definitely, the way he was portrayed in this movie, I can see him with the right work being able to be set up as like a good solo act. Like not like how they did Thor 1 and 2 for Marvel, but like a good like solo act for DC. Especially like he's the only black guy with anything happening with him right now, unless they're bringing in Jon Stewart, which would be dope. DC, if you're listening, bring in Jon Stewart, please, dear God.
They are bringing in Jon Stewart, at least from what I remember, but they're also introducing Hal Jordan at the same time. They're going to be in a movie together. That's their plan.
Okay, that's even better. The more Green Lanterns, the better. I'm pretty sure there's like 5 Green Lanterns for planet Earth, probably 6.
Okay.
But if the 2 most important ones are definitely those 2. So yeah, if that happens, I'll be completely okay.
Also, let's see. I saw on this list Amazo.
Oh yeah, he's an android who can like absorb powers and stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that would be actually cool for a villain for him. And then Anomaly, which is a person who pretended to be Cyborg's dad. Like something happens to his dad and he come back as a villain or something like that.
Oh, I can already see that one happening. Easy to write that one in.
There's a Cyborg girl. Who knew? Darkseid is also his villain. There's Defective Superman. So maybe Cyborg Superman. Who knows? Gizmo. Trying to think of Joker apparently.
I've never really seen them interact before, but that'll be interesting.
Magenta. I know who she is. She's from Flash Universe. Metallo. So any villain that has robotic enhancements or stuff, that's Cyborg.
I can see that.
Okay, so I guess it's time to this time I'm gonna actually close it out since Michael's decided to join us. I'm
gonna keep quiet in the presence of all the shade, but okay.
It's shady. Okay, so guys, please follow us on Twitter at EchoU Podcast. You can also find us on iTunes, Facebook, SoundCloud at Echo Underground Podcast, and we're also on all podcasting apps, including Castbox, if you have that, at Echo Underground Podcast as well, including YouTube. And all those sites, you can leave comments, you can like, and you can follow or subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
See ya.